Tutorial time! Aw, Gerald the dog. This little clay chubby piece of dog is how I got my start in stop motion animation. It all starts with the design, and I started on paper with a bunch of really skinny legged, very chubby bodies because I thought that would be really hysterical visually. And I quickly realized that that's really hard to do in stop motion because the body will not hold itself up, especially with a 1,600-pound piece of clay. So quickly, Gerald's design evolved to having thicker legs that could support him. And as you can see, these are some of my very first clicks in stop motion on my old webcam, literally in my office. And I just punched a whole bunch of holes in a piece of wood and started animating. But Gerald's design started slowly coming together a little bit more, and I started getting my experience points in some of my animation tests, and definitely was falling in love, not just with the character, but with the medium of stop motion. And as you can see, there's some big expression changes there. I was really excited to play with replacement faces like Jack Skellington had in Nightmare Before Christmas. And at this point, I had been doing all of my short filmmaking in CG. So you can see before I decided to do it actually in stop motion, I was considering it to be done completely in CG. But I finally got this design that I really liked here. And I had fallen in love madly with not just Gerald as a character, but also stop motion as a medium. And I went with it. So here's my Gerald puppet, and here's more tests because I did a ton of tests before I started shooting the actual film. You can see here I had a maquette, so I had a pretty clear version to start my molding version. So I didn't do the head because I knew I was going to have replacement faces. But in kind of a wide leg T pose, I molded Gerald and then would be able to put an armature inside of him, which again, I had not any experience, so I played with a bunch of different armature parts, trying to build an armature, but really nothing was working well. It couldn't support them, things would come loose, proportions weren't right, and I ended up just going to wire because armatures were just kind of a big pain in the butt. But I did a lot of experimenting, trying to figure it all out, again, before the film started. But there you can see is what we ended up animating, or I animated for the entire film. Foam, when they come out, it looks like a big pancake like that. Before we paint it, we seam it up. And we didn't know how to do any of this when we started. So it was kind of like learning on the job. In fact, that one that you saw there was my second attempt. This is the third one, my final one, which actually became the real one for the film. The last one did not work very well. Tons of failure as you're learning this process in every step. Molding, casting, foam latex, all of this. And I learned all of my molding stuff from Kathy Zung's DVD, Mold Making Foam Latex 101. And you can see there's a failed foam, many of the fails that happen before you get a good one, a good pull. We bought like a $25 oven off of Craigslist to cook all our puppets in. And as you can see, we're seaming it there. We always made 3, like I said in my last one. Every time we made a puppet, we made 3 because as you're repairing one, you have another one to go on stage and start shooting. And here's some of my early facial explorations as I was exploring all the many expressions that I wanted Gerald to have. And I just used a little foam ball for a base structure, and then the rest of it was just Van Aken clay that I would replace and put the ears on and whatnot. And here now I'm actually working with my puppet version that the film is based on as I did this experiment. And I would, coming from a 2D background, do a lot of pose drawings and tests because that was the only way I knew how to prepare. So really not having any software advantages, I was able to at least create a roadmap that would become my regular process as I made Gerald's Last Day.